Okay, Google, show me a young Earth creationist that doesn't understand the model that he's trying to debunk. And don't show a picture of me. No, not him. Show me another one, please.
Hey guys, this is Matt Powell.
He'll do. Hey, roll that intro, will you, pal? Thank you. I'm going to change that intro on me as soon as I get a bit more proficient in video editing and all that malarkey. Anyway, welcome. It's Wacky Wednesday, so it must be time for a Wacky Wednesday video. Today we are looking at the aforementioned Matt Powell. He seems to have a problem with the Big Bang Theory. You have no idea how many cups of coffee and how many boxes of tissues it took to get that photograph. Anyway, I digress. Yes, we are looking at Matt Powell. He's a young Earth creationist. He believes everything that is written in the Bible. No problem with that at all. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, there's no evidence for it, and he has a problem with the Big Bang Theory. So we're going to look at him and his complete misunderstanding of it all. Yes, I am up to 219 subscribers, so thank you everybody that's subscribed. You must like some of what I do, if not all of it. It doesn't matter, so please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in just a moment.
If I was to tell you that there was a gigantic explosion, one of the first things that you would ask me is, well, what caused it?
No, not really. I'd say, was anybody injured? Was anybody hurt? Was anybody killed? Is everybody okay? That's probably one of the first things that I'd say if there was a big explosion.
If I responded back to you and said, well, nothing caused it, nothing caused this explosion, you would say that's crazy. You'd say that's madness. You'd say that's absolutely insane.
I agree, I probably would. But seeing as you're talking about the Big Bang Theory, I probably wouldn't, no.
But if you look at the Big Bang Theory and the atheistic perspective of it...
What's atheism got to do with the Big Bang? I don't get you at all. Just because you're coming from the biblical creation side, it doesn't mean that the Big Bang Theory is only believed by atheists. In fact, wasn't Lemaitre a Catholic? He believed in God, and he came up with the Big Bang Theory. He was the first to do it, in fact.
According to them, since there is no God, nothing would have had to create everything.
And it's entirely plausible, as Lawrence Krauss once said. Lawrence Krauss, world-renowned physicist, award-winning physicist. He said that the laws of physics, as we understand them, make it eminently plausible that our universe arose from nothing. No space, no time, no particles, nothing that we know of. And he's like I said, he's a world-renowned physicist, an award-winning physicist. So are you saying that I shouldn't believe this man and just believe you? Or believe the Bible? Show me some evidence of the Bible first. Show me some evidence that the Bible is scientifically accurate, and I'll look into it. That's all. Stop trying to dismantle everything, or just dismiss everything out of hand just because the Bible says this. You've got to show some evidence for it, man. Come on. I am.
And so they think that nothing caused an explosion at the beginning.
Rapid expansion. An explosion is different from a rapid expansion. As I commented, I think it was either Dr. Kent Hovind or Matt himself that said a rapid expansion and an explosion are the same thing. So if I blow up a balloon, is it expanding or is it exploding?
That created order and created our universe. Now, that really shows that professing themselves to be wise, they became fools
Well, they're not professing themselves to be wise, are they? They're just putting forward a theory. A guy put forward a theory, and that theory has been tested and repeated and studied many, many times over, and it's the accepted explanation of how the universe began amongst scientists and amongst other people with more than half a brain cell.
And that the Bible just comes back right time and time again about these people that claim to be very logical.
And again, science doesn't claim to be, claim themselves to be logical. Scientists don't claim themselves to be logical. What they do is they hold the theories up for study and peer review and just say, well, if you've got a better theory, show us some evidence and we'll have a look at it for you. Dead simple. The Bible can't do that. Young Earth creationists cannot and will not do that. They won't hold themselves up for any sort of peer review or any sort of study. It's, a bit hypocritical, don't you think?
If they can't even get their own creation story somewhat based in logic or science or reason, I don't know why people should put any trust or any faith in what they say.
Well, why not? There are three main pieces of evidence for Big Bang. The redshift of light, cosmic background radiation, types of elements. Those are the three main ones. I'm not going to go into the details of it all now because, number one, there's not enough time. I want to keep these videos quite short. And number two, I haven't got a bloody clue. I don't know what redshift of light is. I'll do a little bit of thingy on it, but I don't need to understand it because it's already been tested and peer reviewed and all, and it's been done with science and logic and reason. The one thing that hasn't been done with science and logic and reason is the creation story in the Bible. Maybe if you offered some science and logic and reason to your side of things, then maybe I'd give more truck to what to what you believe in. I'll be waiting a long time though.
And so to say that nothing exploded,
expanded,
and created everything, that nothing caused an explosion,
expansion,
is absolutely pathetic.
That's your evidence, is it? That's your evidence against the Big Bang Theory. It's pathetic. Sorry, you're going to have to come up with something a little bit more substantial.
The second problem that I have with the Big Bang Theory, and that science has with the Big Bang Theory, is this idea that there was nothing and then an explosion
expansion
occurred and that there was something.
But doesn't quantum mechanics teach us that you can get something from nothing, or something can happen from nothing?
Mathematically speaking and scientifically speaking, the first law of thermodynamics states that matter cannot be created or destroyed.
No, it doesn't. It says that energy or heat energy cannot be created or destroyed, not matter.
So it's scientifically impossible to go from nothing to something.
I think you should start talking to some people who study quantum mechanics, like quantum physicists and stuff. I think you should talk to them first before you go on a YouTube.
So the first two flaws with the Big Bang Theory is this idea that nothing caused the explosion,
expansion,
and that the explosion,
expansion,
created time, space, and matter. And so we know that matter cannot create itself, and so an outside force would have had to bring matter into existence.
Oh God, what is this outside force? You're gonna say God, aren't you? Please don't.
The Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
You said it, didn't you? Oh, for goodness sake. Right, I'm not dissing anything here. I just want to see some evidence of it. A book of fables written by ignorant, bigoted men who didn't know what they were talking about is not evidence for creation. The Bible said it. God didn't say anything in the Bible. Jesus certainly never said anything in the Bible. It was just show some evidence for Christ's sake.
And so God set the world in motion. God created the heaven and the earth, and God was the force that did that.
Like I said before, let's see some evidence. A book written 2,000 years ago is not evidence.
And you either have to believe that someone created something out of nothing, or that nobody created something out of nothing. And so those are the first two problems with the Big Bang Theory. And a third problem with the Big Bang Theory is this idea that it created order, and that somehow this
expansion
out of chaos produced order and planets that are in a perfect orbit. If we live in a universe where things are tending towards disorder, how did we get order in the first place? If an explosion occurred and created order, how did this even come about to begin with? And so these are three big issues with the Big Bang Theory. And I think it should be rejected by the scientific community. I don't think it has any logical basis.
And the Bible does. What qualifies you to think that the entire scientific community should just dismiss all the evidence of the Big Bang, completely ignore all the evidence of the Big Bang in favour of some omnipotent being going poof and everything was created in 6 days? What qualifies you to do that? What qualifies you? What makes you that arrogant that we should dismiss all of science in favour of an old book of fables? Absolutely nothing. Now, if you were to show us some evidence of this omnipotent being going poof and everything, everything being created inside of 6 days, then please show us.
And people that try to defend the Big Bang Theory will try to redefine the Big Bang as an expansion. They'll say, well, it wasn't really an explosion, it was just an expansion. But the Big Bang Theory states that the universe went from the size of an atom to the size of our entire universe, our known universe, in a trillionth of a second.
No. The Big Bang Theory teaches us actually that first stars started appearing about 400 million years after the beginning of the expansion. So please stop lying.
So if that's not an explosion, I don't know what is.
Expansion.
To be smaller than an atom, and then just go to being as big as our universe in a trillionth of a second, that is an explosion.
Expansion.
And the only reason they try to redefine it and say, well, it's an expansion,
explosion,
is just to make it sound like it's not as kooky as it really is.
There you have it, folks. The Big Bang is both pathetic and it's kooky. And we shouldn't believe any scientist that says otherwise. And we shouldn't believe all the evidence for the Big Bang. Alrighty. I think that's where we'll leave it, because from then on he just goes on and on about people mocking Christianity and Jesus and God. No, I don't mock it. Scientists certainly don't mock it. They just want to see some evidence of Jesus and God and some scientific evidence to back up the creationist view of things. He also mentions Aaron Ra. Aaron Ra doesn't even like the Big Bang Theory. He said it on one of his videos. So, he's more about phylogeny and evolution and proving evolution and showing evidence of evolution. He's admitted he doesn't like the Big Bang because he doesn't understand it. And I think that's where we have something in common. That's Mr. Powell, done and dealt with and debunked. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And join me for more videos, especially Wacky Wednesday videos, gameplay videos and TV licensing videos. Unlike Mr. Powell, I'm going to keep my comments turned on for this particular video, so everybody's welcome to join me. Thank you.